Well, I have Niko reigning from LA. He is rocking a Lakers jacket today. And he, first and foremost, is going to give a prediction of the Lakers record this year.
Wow, you're going to put me on the spot like that. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win enough games to get a 3 seed. So I won't give you exact number. I think we'll win enough games to get a 3 seed in the West, and then we'll win enough games to hoist that trophy at the end of the year and have a parade here. That's what I'll say. The title's coming back to Los Angeles.
All right, I'll take it. We talked about it earlier. I'm a Bulls fan. I'm happy to be in the playoffs, to be honest. I think we will make the playoffs. Low key could make a run. We're not winning the championship this year. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, you're right. I can't bet against the Lakers. So, Niko, tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, not born and raised in Los Angeles, but I've been in this great city for the last 7 years. I'm a husband. I have an amazing wife. Her name is Nicole. Met her at our church. We both attend and serve at Zoe Church under Pastor Chad and Pastor Julia Veach, the best pastors in the world. And so, yeah, I mean, we both work in the entertainment industry, have both lived in LA for, like I said, for me, 7 years, for her, just around the same. And just excited, man, just full life, young, haven't been married too long. And just thankful, taking it day by day, trying to get better, trying to make those around us better, and just happy to be here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we met almost 3 years ago, which is wild, on a random Instagram group chat. Super excited, and I'm super honored to know you. I know a little bit about what you're doing in the entertainment industry, in the church space. Like I said, even seeing you as a husband has helped me and the way I lead and love my wife. So tell me a little bit about your journey of getting into the entertainment industry.
Yeah, man. So, well, first of all, thank you again for all of that. Love you, bro, and excited to be here. But yeah, so my journey getting into the entertainment industry was, so I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Stepdad is an artist. He's a photographer specifically, and he would travel and do art shows all around the United States and sell his photography. And he had some woodworking like puzzles and things like that. And so really grew up kind of like seeing a lot of different artists and just kind of like living in that circuit, if you will. And it was crazy because I grew up just being like, I just wanted to be an athlete. Like all I cared about was sports,
Right.
And so I felt so like disconnected, but it was still such a huge part of my life. And then it was funny when I went to college, I went for academics. I didn't play sports anymore. I was craving competition, craving just the structure of what it is to be, on a team. And this is going to sound kind of funny. At the time, I got a lot of heat for it, but I went and watched the Justin Bieber documentary. Now everyone's a fan of the Biebs, right? At the time, he was like really young, right? And so being like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old dude going and watching this documentary of this, like at 12, 14 years old, I'm not sure. Maybe he was 16, I don't know. But either way, of, this young like pop sensation. None of my boys were trying to like go see that, but anyway, I went and saw it, and immediately I was like, wow, I was just like blown away by just the success and like just, everything. And I thought it was so cool. But I wasn't like, oh, I want to be a singer now. No, I was like, I actually immediately, my mind went to like Scooter, like everything that like went behind the scenes to create that. That's like what caught my eye and what resonated with me and what spoke to me. And I was just like, man. So then I would throw on the Grammys and be watching it with friends or whatever. And I'm like, people, I don't want to be the person, standing on stage getting a Grammy. It's not my grace zone. I'm not a singer. I'm not an artist, but like, what did it take to make this event happen? What did it take to, get this person on that stage to even win that award? Like, who are all those people? And I started to think to myself, like, well, if somebody did that, I can do that. because every time I look at success or greatness or anything in the world, I'm like, that's just permission.
Yeah.
Hey, if you see someone else do it, you can certainly do it. Because we're all 98% like biologically the same human beings. So if another human being made that happen, why can't I? And growing up in Albuquerque, no one ever shows you that. You don't see that. There's no examples. But for me, that was my example. And I really felt like at the time I wasn't even saved, none of that stuff. I felt like God really maneuvered through that and gave me that wish and want, and that excitement on my heart to, he gave that to me specifically. So long story short, I was like, man, that's amazing. And then I also thought the dancing element of background dancers was really cool when I was watching the film. So I started dancing, and I pursued dancing. Long story short, met one person, met another person, get connected to this guy. And he just changed my life. He's my big brother to this day. His name is Trey. And, I spent a lot of time dancing with him, and he had a dance company. I auditioned for it, got it, had no place being there. Honestly, every other dancer in the room, 10 years, 11 years, 16 years, 15 years, me like 3 months. I don't know how I'm here. It's like by the grace of God, and being in there and spending so much time with him and talking about life and doing life together. He's actually the first person that I decided I'm going to go to church with. And I know, like, we're talking about entertainment, but it just came to me as like, well, the entertainment actually is what got me into God. So it started with this movie and being like, I have a heart to do this, and then that by way of that, meeting someone who opened me up to the gospel, started going to church with them, ended up getting saved. And all the while I was still, in college, I was studying marketing and business. And I was like, well, I don't want to be one of those stories that when I get out of school that, I spent a bunch of money and time on a piece of paper that does nothing for me. I want to combine my craft, what I'm studying, what I'm learning with what I'm passionate about, which was the entertainment industry. So I was like, cool, you can market in anything, and definitely entertainment. So, I basically set my eyes on that at that time around 19 years old, and it was all just kind of coming together. And then I discovered a 16-year-old hip hop act that was just crushing it. He was a high school kid in Albuquerque, doing his thing, doing like little local shows. Met him, became his manager, and went on to do a lot of fun things. Open for artists that at the time, couldn't have ever, even dreamt of being on the same bill as them. And one thing led to another. And basically by the time I graduated college, I was like, it's time for me to move to the Mecca of it all and come to Los Angeles. And so now I'm here.
Let's go. Dude, it's such an amazing story and testament of, even you kind of highlighted it, of like God was hunting you down and he was using the desires that he created you to have. Like, I think some people, like us creatives, some people feel bad about having passions and big aspirations to do great things. And don't get me wrong, not everybody's called to move to LA to start a business, or but it's those passions that God has put in your heart, that you kept saying yes, and the people that were attached to it, that he was chasing you down for, obviously crazy big things that you're just getting started with. So talk to me a little bit about, kind of sidetrack here, your daily habits, because obviously you're an entrepreneur, you have employees, you have a big company, you serve at your church, you also have a wife. And I know we talked about this a little offline, but I'm just interested to hear about your schedule.
Yeah. Well, real quick, wanted to touch on, like, I just feel like God always speaks our language, right? Touching on, using the desires of your heart. And so I don't think anyone should ever feel bad about those desires. It's just kind of like, where do you place that desire? As long as God's here over the desire, you're always going to be good. The desire just can never pass the number one, which has to be God.
Yeah.
And for me, in my situation, like you said, I mean, I love that idea of, like, he hunted me down, like he spoke my language. He used those desires to really get to me and get into my heart and, change my life in every way. And yeah, so I think kind of, going to this question, daily habits are everything for me. Organization, discipline, it's such a huge thing and huge part of my life. I literally cannot function without the strong habits, because I just feel like, it's said that you sow into your habits, you sow into which it creates a lifestyle. You sow into that lifestyle, it creates a destiny. And so it starts with your habits. And for me, I mean, a day-to-day really is, Colin Henderson says it like this, sweat before screen.
Yeah.
So I wake up in the morning and just kind of start with some breathing and just some affirmations, and just first off thanking God for what I have, thinking, kind of declaring what I am, giving myself affirmations, and then kind of quickly declare, what I will do and what I'll accomplish. That's straight from Colin Henderson, Quiet Mind. He has a great book. It's called The Ha Method. I have, I am, I will. And so I start with that I only do that for a few minutes while I'm getting ready to go to the gym. Go crush a workout. Got 2 great workout partners, meet on a consistent basis. So do that 5 days a week. Go to the gym, crush a workout, try and stay away from looking at my phone at all, outside of just picking some music. What I even work out to is a huge part of my habits. I don't work out to music. Like, I don't even listen to it. I'm not even like, we're not talking Justin Bieber. We're not talking worship. We're not talking hip hop. I don't listen to music. I listen to podcasts or just motivational speeches. What I listen to the entire time I'm working out. I've been doing that for a long time. Really just gets my mind right. Because for me, it's all the battle here, So come home from that, read and journal, pray, obviously get cleaned up, and then just jump into work. And for work, with managing everything that we have going on with different clients or employee needs, or like trying to actually work on the business as opposed to just being in the business, I just have, a really strict set of priorities, and I set those out the day before.
Yeah.
I don't come up with them when I get into work now. Like, I'm coming up on the end of my workday now. So right when we're done with this call, I'll go and I'll set my priorities for tomorrow. Just so that way, when I come in, I work from home, but when I come into the office and into my zone, I'm just ready to go. And I'm like, oh man, what did I have to get done? It's the worst.
Right.
Especially because like I'm such an overthinker, and I want to make sure that I have a good grasp on everything that's going on, that if I don't write it down and hold myself to it, then it can slip through the cracks with ease. So that's kind of work. When work's done, then I mean, ideally we'll have already had like a dinner, whether we're eating at home or maybe we got a date night, or we're hanging out with friends, or we've got church service, or some sort of like meeting or connect group. All that's kind of pre-planned and pre-scheduled. Very rarely do I have just kind of like a free night where there's nothing there, because I want to be very intentional with my time, even in my free nights. Like tonight, like with my wife, it's like, hey, we're gonna be at home, we're gonna not have our phones, we're gonna chill out. She's gonna make dinner because she's the best cook, and praise God for that, because that's not my great zone at all.
Really?
And then we're gonna watch a movie, and we'll do like, we'll either binge watch shows, or we got like movie marathons. And so that's kind of like what a day-to-day will look like. Obviously a lot of difference depending on what's actually going on at work, or if it's if I'm out of the office, in the office, or whatever it may be. But that's habits and kind of the general structure. Just the details kind of change around.
100%. So every single person that's been on this, that I've had conversations with, that I've met, are all disciplined in their schedule, and not only just their schedule, but what you're consuming, what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're eating, and that it's all matters. And one thing that I highlighted, you might have not heard, is you are a grill guy though, right?
The grill guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm the grill guy for sure.
All right. Let just 30 seconds. What makes your steak so good?
Well, I feel like if I gotta go grill, I gotta go grill guy. You know what I mean? This is grill guy because it's a whole persona. We got the voice. I mean, you've seen it on the IG story. We got the apron. It says grill guy, 2 words, grill and guy, the greatest words ever put together. See, the thing is what makes the steak so good is just simply this, brother. Who's cooking it? That's it, man. You don't got to worry about the recipe. You ain't got to worry about the cut. None of that. Let me worry about that. You sit there, you eat that steak, you enjoy it. That's it.
Let's go. Shout out to Grill Guy pulling up. I love it. Well, when I come to LA, Lexi and I will come to LA. We'll enjoy a steak from Grill Guy.
I received that prophecy. I'm down. Let's go.
Let's go. So this is something that so we went from really just hearing about who you are, your habits, and you and I have heard this 1,000 times, but what you do daily is who you become permanently. So our daily habits, who we are. So what for you, for the viewers, maybe what do you do at church? What is your role? What do you do on a Sunday? What kind of space are you in?
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, going to Zoe, it's for me, from the moment I walked in, I was just down for whatever. I just really wanted to serve that church and that house and Pastor Chad and Pastor Julia. So the role that I'm in has shifted a lot of times over the course of, going on 7 years. And currently right now, my wife and I, we lead a culture class, like bridge team or orientation team. So we have a culture class where you can, come by. It's 3 steps, learn about the church, all that stuff, how to get plugged in. And really what we do is we sit in on every culture class and we just meet everyone who wants to get plugged into our church. Everyone who's coming to culture class, we meet them, we exchange information, we make sure that they feel like they're not just floating into class, looking around, getting all this information, leaving.
Right.
Week in and week out, we're checking in with them. And then after someone has graduated, then we give them an orientation. So that next Sunday after they've graduated, walk them around the venue, connect them with their team lead, and really just make sure that they're not doing life alone. Especially, I mean, it's like anywhere, but especially in Los Angeles, the city's so transient. So many people are not from here. It's very rare to meet someone who's like, yeah, I was born and raised in LA.
Right.
Which sounds crazy because if you go back to Albuquerque, it's like rare to meet someone who's not from Albuquerque. And so, yeah, making sure, that person, when we see them, it's like, hey, there's Carlos from culture class. And, he's kind of looking around like, I don't want him to sit alone. I don't want him to have to do this alone. So checking in with him, making sure that he's just loving life at Zoe. And so that's the role that we're currently in. And honestly, man, we're just here to wash feet, bro. Whatever we're called to do. Nicole has served on the photography team. As you know, she's an incredible photographer. So she served in that capacity. I've served on the production team. We're a mobile church. So serve on load in and load out, really, whatever is needed. But that's the team that we're currently leading and really just all in on.
It's absolutely amazing. We are also a load in, load out church, and there's nothing better. There's nothing better than pulling up at 4:50, getting stuff ready. We've been in a middle school. We were in a concert venue. Now we're in an arena. It's the best, dude. Let's go. So Lex and I have been to Zoe. I think I've been 3 times, and every time something that I want to pull apart a little bit with you is I meet somebody every time, and every time we stay connected. So first time, I might have been twice. So first time I met you, obviously, but we knew each other a little bit on Instagram. This last time I met Rob. Dude, greatest.
What I got.
Amazing. Brilliant. He literally was standing outside. We were waiting for our Uber, and he just walked up to us and was like, "You guys need help, or what's up? What's your name?" And I was like, "Yo, what up?" He gave us like a big list of places to go eat food, and like followed up with us to make sure like how the food was, and just amazing. So what, like, from your eyes, you've been around for 7 years. What is that? And what our church would call it is we kind of have a value called connect driven in nature. So our job on a Sunday is to be connect driven in nature. So we're going to connect with people that don't look like somebody who would just attend Zoe every Sunday. So for you, what do you think that is?
Man, I think it starts with leadership with Pastor Chad and Pastor Julia. It's who they are. You know, they radiate such joy and
Mhm.
passion for loving others that anyone that serves at Zoe, anyone that's part of the ZST, the Zoe Serve team, it's just ingrained in our DNA as a church that we're just passionate about loving other people and making sure that, like you're talking about, they feel connected. And it's not just some quick, like, oh, hey, what's going on? Empty conversation.
No,
Again, to reference the city that we're in, everything is about what do you do? There's an agenda attached to everything. And Pastor Chad's actually we just started a sermon series around knowing your why. And he talked about that, just everyone in our city being so driven about the agenda, the who's and the what's and the where's and the how's and all that kind of stuff that, when you come to Zoe, it's a real priority for us to make sure that you feel loved on, connected, seen, valued. When anywhere you go, you go because you're known and you're
Mhm.
needed, right? And so we want to make sure that people feel known and needed and loved on and cared for. And it's never just like a quick, just, all
Right.
right, well, hey, what's up? Just a quick brush by, and so I think that's exactly what you're seeing. And it
Mhm.
starts again with just joy and passion for loving other people. You know,
Mhm.
as we know, love God, love people.
Right.
Those are the two mandates. And
Mhm.
so what are we doing if we're just letting somebody come in, float around, bounce?
Right.
What are we doing if we're not seeing someone waiting for their Uber, like, oh, you guys good? Like, making sure that we're getting connected, staying connected and following up. And I think it just comes from a place of having like that being a genuine, real thing and not just like, oh, this is our culture, so we have to do this. We get to. We get
Right.
to love on other people. We get to stay connected. We get to follow up. And so I think that's the whole attitude and the mindset is we get to love on other people. So why would we pass up the opportunity to do that?
Right. Yeah. I've been kind of on a mantra the past couple of months, checking myself, like even for like Sunday specific, like Sunday is game day. There's people coming in
Let's
who don't
go.
know Jesus, need like are looking for a church or got tricked into showing up, whatever it is. But what's in me will come out of me when I'm connecting with people, when we're leading our teams, when we're doing anything not just on Sundays, but when we're in the church space, when you're leading a team at work, what's inside of you. So back from the beginning, like if you're not healthy internally, it's coming out of you. Like when we're connecting with somebody at church, and I've had a really bad week, but the church like language is put your game face on. It's good for like 3 weeks. And then there's like, all right, bro, what's actually wrong? Like, how can we help you? Um, our youth pastor always says, hit them with a get to, because people are like, oh, I have to do this. Nope, we get to do this. And yeah, dude, absolutely. I would point it back to that as well. What walks in our lead pastors will run in our teams, 1,000%.
100%. You always amplify your leaders, man. That's just
Yeah.
how it goes.
So we have two last questions. This one being, last one's probably the most serious, but this one, give us one leadership tip. Give me one leadership tip, some principle that I can take to the bank today.
One leadership tip or principle that you can take to the bank is just know your why.
Mhm.
Know your why. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing what you're doing? Is there an agenda attached? Are you trying to be, why do you want to be on platform? Why do you want to be friends with them? Again, I mean, the, I all I consume is leadership. That's all I'm trying to, because like we said, you are what you consume. So I really put a big emphasis on reading books. Why do I do that? Honestly, I do that because I just want to be wise because I want to help other people.
Mhm.
So because I know where I was. and where I still am. It's a whole journey, you know? And so knowing your why, if you don't know your why, then you'll be floating around and it'll be really, really hard to get where you're trying to go. How would you even know where you're going if you don't know why you're going there?
Right.
And so again, you know, why do you do what you do? If there's no why attached to it, then it's all for naught. And so again, you know, for me, I really wanted to put a heavy emphasis on how many hardcover, you know, paper books I was reading this year. And it all started because in, you know, New Year's Eve, hanging out with the wife, we were in Santa Barbara, and we just got on this conversation around, like, you know, what does life look like when you're 40 or 45? Like, what is that? What do you want that to look like? And the biggest thing that I could think of was I want to be wise. I want to be able to share wisdom and help people in any and all situations. And there's a lot of different ways to do that, but I think it starts with me consuming wisdom, studying it, and really trying to get it in me. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to read books. What kind of
Yeah.
book? You know, and then and so therefore it all starts with the why. And so that's what I would take to the bank. Know your why, and the rest will kind of sort itself out.
Yeah. One of my friends said this maybe 2 years ago, and it's changed my life. Without the right why, your fight always dies. So, like you said, the what. A lot of people are fighting towards something, or they're trying to get to their purpose, and that's what. But if we don't know the why we're doing it, why there's opposition, why there's whatever, it'll die. It'll dwindle out because mission without purpose is irrelevant. So, by the way, what are a couple book recommendations if you're digging into Niko's library?
Dude, I'll look over at it right now. The Happiness Advantage by Sean Ecker, incredible book. It's like a series of books. I read the workplace one, basically 7 principles of how to have basically more productivity stemming from your happiness and positivity in the workplace. But it's a whole series. I think he has them for relationships and all kinds of different things. Quiet Mind, Colin Henderson, absolutely incredible. Live Free, Devon Franklin. The Truth About Men by Devon Franklin. That book changed my life. And then from a finance book, real quick, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think that's like one of the top 10 books. Like if you look up any list in the world, would highly recommend that. We'll park there. I think we've got a good amount that I just sent you.
Good list.
I don't want to say too many, but yeah, we'll go there. Oh wait, last one, Boundaries. That one really changed my life.
Yep.
Boundaries are so important. And yeah, that book Boundaries was great. Oh, and can't leave out Pastor Chad, Help I Work with People.
That book was incredible.
Fire.
That changed the way I lead people. Also, how to win friends and influence people changed my life. Dale Carnegie, absolutely brilliant. All right, Niko, final question. So let's say hypotheticals here, okay? LeBron leaves in 2 years. What's going to happen? Because Melo is going to retire, I'm sure. I don't know. He dropped a good amount. Was it last night? But where are the Lakers going? Like, prophesy to the Lakers right now.
Cool. This is what's going to happen. LeBron James brings in a ring, right? He's probably going to play one more year after that. We don't win. He leaves. And he goes and plays wherever Bronny goes, just so that way he can basically do maybe the most goatly thing ever. Start in a lineup with his son. Cool, wherever that is. AD's still here. Russ, I'm not sure. We draft well. Taylor Horton Tucker comes into himself more. And then we get a huge acquisition, and it's going to be one of these two guys. either D-Book is coming to Los Angeles because he really, really loves Kobe and wants to step into the footsteps of the Mamba and carry us to a title, or LaMelo Ball realizes that he is the premier player in the league, because I think he will be.
Yes.
And he wants to come home to Los Angeles. And so I think that's what's going to happen. And then we'll go on to compete and win rings again, with AD being a veteran and having a really young premier guard in LaMelo or D-Book. That's what I think happens.
I'll take that. I would even slide in Dame to the Lakers conversation. I think he would, if LeBron leaves, Dame would be an absolute. He just needs to get out of his situation. He's a great player. He needs a ring, but
yeah, I wouldn't be mad at Dame time. I would not be mad at that at all.
Lex and I are going to a Chicago Bulls Charlotte Hornets game, and it's going to be the first time Lonzo and LaMelo play when it's Chicago Bulls with Hornets. So I'll take that. But
yeah, and they're tied for 3 games in, tied for first though. So
it's going to be good.
Should be fun.
Thank you so much for being on. I'm always encouraged by you, your spirit, your positivity, your joy. We could probably talk for 3 more hours, but then we'd have to just call this the Joe Rogan experience, and I cannot do that. So thank you so much for being on, man. I hope that anyone viewing this, you were encouraged, you took some notes, and you learned something from Niko.
Let's go, man. Love you. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Yep.
All right, brother.
Boom.